Hey guys, Phil Baumhardt here. So for today's video, I will be making another big knife out of a piece of 1095 flat stock. This is 5/16 of an inch thick. This is 18 inches long overall. I'm looking to get another about 16-inch blade out of this thing, so I'm going to forge out the blade first, and then we'll do the tang with whatever material I have left over, just so I can hopefully make sure that I have the blade as long as I want. So this one isn't going to be a traditional bowie. This is going to be more of like a cutlass, maybe a small pirate sword. So what I'm looking to get out of it is just a gentle sweep through the entire thing. I think some people call it a Persian style of blade, but just a gentle upward curve out of this, and then I'll be doing another D-guard. And so to get that kind of sweep out of it, we're going to have to do a little bit different of a preform than the bowie knife. So I think it's going to, instead of going all the way to the end here, I think I'll start in about the midpoint of the steel, and I'm going to make it as long as possible, so that way I'll hammer on this side, it'll kind of sweep up, and then I'll do some hammering on that termination point, just to kind of give it a nice homogeneous curve to it. So let me get my form drawn and we'll cut that out. Okay, so that's going to be the preform basically. So this edge here will be the blade, the cutting edge, and so I'll probably refine out this point a little bit more, and then I'll really start working that blade side, and that'll give it that sweep. So just from that hammering, this whole piece is just over 19 inches long, so I got a full inch out of just working that edge right there. So if I want a 16-inch blade, that's about right there. I got about 3 or 4 inches right here that I'll start making the tang out of. So when trying to make a narrow tang out of such a flat piece of steel, the key to doing it is just to go little by little, try not to hit it too hard, because that's how it'll fold over and you get cold shuts and all that. But again, you're really not supposed to do that with this kind of flat stock. But I'm doing it anyways. Another thing I'm doing is trying to make sure I keep this tang even as I go, because on that Yankee Slayer bowie, it got a little too far to one side, and then the handle fit up was a little bit off. So I'll try not to do that on this one. So I got a little bit more work to do on extending this tang. Right now it's just about fist size, so I want to make sure it's definitely longer, but we're getting there. So I went through and kind of did like a packing heat with the hammer, just a light hammer, just to kind of make sure everything was straightened out and all that. And now I'm just I got it up to temperature. I'm letting it cool down normally to normalize the steel. So with normalizing, I'm not a metallurgist by any means. I'm not an expert at this, but it helps reduce stress in the steel from different spots where you got it hotter than others, where you hammered it more. So with a big blade like this, that's going to be, be swung around a lot, take a lot of abuse with the leverage from the handle. Kind of want to give it every chance it's got, so I figured I'd give normalizing a shot. When you buy this steel, I believe it's already pre-annealed, so I don't need to anneal this again before I start grinding it. But I think we're pretty much good to go on here. So while that's cooling down, I'm going to get going on doing the guard. So I've got this piece of scrap steel, and I think I'll see if I can make this into the guard. Appears I'm on fire. Damn bandana caught fire, smoldering. That could have been bad. Whew. Yeah, anyways, steel seems like good steel. It doesn't feel all mushy and soft like mild steel, so it's going to have a decent amount of carbon in it. So this will be that the end point that curls up by the spine of the knife, and this will give me the same width as the original Yankee Slayer Bowie knife. So I'm trying out the cross peen on this particular 4-pound hammer just to see how much width I can get out of this. I'm going through trying to keep it even as I go, so I can already tell that right about in here is where the blade's going to come out. So if this part of the knuckle bow is a little bit wider, it kind of expands right at the guard point, that thing will be pretty good. Okay, we're getting pretty close. Oops. So in the process of working this this little end here, kind of curved up like that, so I just figured I'd roll with it. So I know the blade will go in about here. That'll be the D. So we definitely have enough material. So I just kind of wanted to do a little test shape up. So yeah, somewhere in here is where we'll have to bend it over. So we can probably cut this. We can probably cut this nut off. We'll kind of finish it up. I'll probably bend it back just so that I can put the hole in here, but just so we know what we're working with as far as the size goes. I think we're good to go here. I don't want to get too far and finish this until I have the actual handle shaped up, so I might actually go ahead and do that next. I want to cut all the way through it. I want to gouge the anvil. There we go. Finally. Okay, so that's a decent test fit. Definitely big enough for the hand. Maybe slightly too large, but not too small. So I think I'm gonna get working on the handle, and then once I have the actual dimensions of the wood handle, we can come back and finish this up. So I'll kind of bounce back in between the guard and the actual wood grip itself, and that way we should hopefully get a pretty nice fit up, rather than try to bust through, finish this up, and then kind of be stuck with something that may or may not work. Hello. Okay, so I got some more walnut here, so I'm going to drill out a tang hole, and then maybe burn in that tang. So this is about a 5-inch drill bit, which is about as long as I want the knife tang to be. Okay, here's what it's looking like. I can get that in the light there. Pretty happy with that right now. So at least for a rough grind, so I'll give this a rest and probably start carving out the handle. Okay, so I got the knife blade set into my block of walnut here. So I'm going to try setting this in the vise like so. And then starting to shape it down with the draw knife, so that way I can see the blade, see the spine, and it just sort of helps keep everything even. So sometimes it comes off like that, which is not a big deal. So we'll check this fit up here. So looking pretty good. I still have a little bit more material on this side than on this side, but it's not too shabby. it actually kind of works as a handle right now. It's almost like it's big, so it's like scaled up, so kind of funny. So we'll keep working on this. This is longer than what it's ultimately going to be. The Yankee Slayer had a 5-inch handle. I thought that was just a little bit big. This is like 5.5, so I need the tang to come through the end, but I'm keeping it long, so that way I kind of have a little bit of leeway as far as if I need to cut down this end, or maybe a little off both, and that will help me just keep everything even. So something I should have done a lot earlier was get a blade guard. This is just a piece of scrap leather, because from pushing forward on this, I've slipped up a couple of times and put a few little nicks in my draw knife. Figured I'd share that with you guys in case you are doing something like this. But then again, you're probably smarter than me and have already figured that out. I ground down a little bit of this shoulder area right here, and I expanded the hole with a little bit larger chisel. So now I got a good fit up here. So now I'm going to curl this end up that way, and then I'll fit up the D-guard. Okay, so we got, I opened up that little hole there a little bit more, ground down the very end of the tang. So now this now fits up nicely. There's just enough room for your hand. I didn't want this one to be too big, and I mean, obviously it's not too small. So now we'll just saw down this excess material here. So I haven't hardened this or anything, so I don't think it will give me any trouble. So we got a little bit of a warp. See if I can straighten that out. Okay, so you can kind of see the quench line there. Quick file test. It's good to go. So I got the oven warming up, so I'll get this tempered. So the straightening seemed to have been successful. It looks pretty good to me. The back is definitely straight, so I'm happy about that. And if after the temper it seems to warp some more, then I'll use the blowtorch and straighten it out that way. Okay, so while the blade is tempering, I'm going to work on the handle piece here. So here's the guard, and I've got a little line drawn about where it's going to have to cut out. I'm leaving it purposely big, so I hopefully don't accidentally make it too small. So we'll get this in the vise here, trim that down. So far on grinding this blade, I've been using some of my 80 grit belts. I think they're a little worn out. I've been using them for I think at least a year now, so they're probably time for some new ones. I cleaned this up initially with this kind of rough paint remover Scotch-Brite wheel, and it left some pretty deep scratches in there that the 80 grit belt was just taking a long time to get them all out up here. So I recently bought some 60 grit belts from Red Label Abrasives. So this is going to be kind of my inaugural grind from this company. I found them on Amazon, and I figured they were just going to be some Chinese produced belts. But actually I was surprised to find out that they're actually located in my home state of Michigan. So I decided I'd give them a shot. I just bought straight from the factory direct. Didn't go through Amazon at all. The price seems good. You got to buy them in a pack of 6, but the price per belt is actually cheaper than some of the alternatives. So we'll try it out, see how it goes. This is the zirconia belts. They're supposed to be pretty durable. So hopefully with doing big knives like this is kind of what I need. So we'll see how it works. Okay, I'm real happy with what I was able to do with that. You can make out the final edge bevel there. The customer who wanted this kind of wanted the fire scale left on to kind of give it a an older look, to maintain that kind of hand forged look of kind of a period weapon of the time. So now we'll go in and we'll put in our secondary bevel, the edge bevel, and we'll get this thing sharp. Okay, so here's our what the handle looks like. I put a coat of linseed oil on there, and I made sure I let that dry sufficiently. So now we're going to sharpen up the blade, put the final edge on there. So what I actually did is I kind of made this, since it's kind of a cutlass, I made this more of a sword type grind. So, you know, from here it just goes all the way to the edge. So it's already, you know, like machete sharp, if you will. You know, it's still a very rough edge, but I got a 150 grit belt on here, and we'll kind of put in our final edge. So it's not going to be a complete secondary bevel. It's just going to kind of hone this up, and then I'll take it over the work sharp and finish sharpening it up there. Okay, well the blade held up really well to those tests. Went through everything like it was just nothing. I couldn't believe how easily it sliced through the water jugs. I wish I had more of those milk jugs, to be honest. I'd like to see if this could go through 4 that easy. I imagine that it would. Looks like the edge held up really well, no chips. It's still, yep, still sharp as hell. Got a good prickle to it. Yeah, I was able to get a really good edge on this one. I'm very happy with the sharpness I achieved on this. So it handled well with this kind of square, straighter grip. I was trying to mimic more of a you know, a cutlass kind of design, because this is, you know, the customer wanted kind of a pirate knife, pirate short sword, if you will. So the blade is 17 inches long, so this might very well be the biggest knife that I've ever made. And because of this blade design, this kind of Persian kind of saber back sweep versus a Bowie knife, it still has a tremendous amount of weight up front here. So the center of percussion is still far out here. So that's why it chops so much better than a Bowie knife, is that you have all that weight still there. It's still that full 5/16 of an inch. So this thing has got some heft to it. It's got really good swing, and that's why it's such a good slicer, such a good chopper. And this would be a fearsome fighting weapon. So overall, really happy with the way this knife turned out. I better get it cleaned up before I get it to the customer. So hopefully he enjoys this knife. I think he will. So if there's a custom order that you want, a specific knife idea that you're looking for, go ahead and contact me either through email or through Etsy, and we'll see if we can make that happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be more Viking.